I believe
La, 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 la.
we should now be live.
Everyone shut the
We
fuck up.
are now indeed live.
Did you get that bit that I just said?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that was in it.
Good day, good buddies. Welcome to the very first live taped episode of Roll-2-Miss, the miscast with me, Roll-to-Chris, our good friend Dave,
Hey.
our good friend the cuddly and hairy Will,
Hi.
and filling in for Eleanor tonight, we have our very good friend Stu, special guest alert.
Hello.
Stu and I are friends from the old days before time. The good old Aston University. Those were interesting times.
Oh, indeed. Yeah. Years ago now, isn't it? God.
Years ago. I believe we met at a house party where we were all dressed in costume. Possibly the around the world evening. Lucy and Emma and that. Was that the night?
Probably around about then, yeah. I mean, we are talking 14 years ago or so now.
Yeah.
I hate to say that out loud.
Which is obviously before Baby Boy was born, so it didn't exist anyway, so it's just pure lies. However, in the present, hello everyone, welcome back to the present. We are, of course, recording a podcast live with you guys, the audience, and so far our audience is sat at a massive, huge,
I'm pretty sure it's 0.
giant, probably 0. But now, 1.
Hey, welcome, whoever you are.
Yeah, what?
The 1 is me.
That was so scary.
Welcome, mysterious single viewer.
Yeah.
I don't think it's even showing up in the analytics. Are you signed in on your YouTube?
I'm Roll-to-Chris.
You're
I'm on as Roll-to-Chris. You'll see me in the comments as Roll-to-Chris. That's my personal.
Could just do me a favor and
Possibly.
send a chat message just to see if I can
Send a
actually
chat
pick up the chat.
Wagwan boys. Oh my god, it's so delayed.
Okay. The chat is working and the concurrent viewers has updated. We now have 1 concurrent viewer. A record-breaking stream. This is the most we've ever had. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of this today.
Such an exciting time to be alive.
It's one of those moments you'll never forget where you were at this moment.
Yeah.
Exactly. It'll be
Especially if you win
9/11.
the stream.
Then this.
Yeah.
And there's 25-6.
You always want your creative endeavours to be compared to 9/11. I hear that's usually a sign of good quality.
Oh, this is going to go so well. So these are the kind of things you normally edit out. But now you have all of our unhinged
We are
brains.
2 minutes in, and comparisons to 9/11.
Well,
Be
start
nice,
strong.
be nice to get an up-to-date reference in here as well at some point.
So it'll be Iran and Israel.
Come on. Well, we did ask.
maybe I could just change the category to politics and we could hard pivot.
What would Trump play?
I keep trying to get us to hard pivot into football, but you guys are not taking it up, and that's okay. I was just going to say someone got promoted recently, and it was a good time for everyone.
You also want us to hard pivot into appealing to the Macedonian audience.
How is that a hard pivot? I feel like we're already there. They just need to know it.
Yeah.
What more could they want from us?
Actually, I'm all about the Kenyan life vlogs scene now because we have 3 subscribers in that niche for some reason. Hi guys,
If you watch
in
this.
the Kenyan life vlog stream world. Just imagine that this was in Kenya. We're in it. We're doing it. Doing it for you. All 3 of our friends.
With these blurred backgrounds, you never know that we're not.
I know.
Exactly.
We could be in Kenya.
Will, you could be in Kenya right now.
I've always been in Kenya.
Having never been to Kenya, I believe it.
You'd be
no idea what
surprised.
background of Kenya would look like.
You'd be surprised how much Kenya looks like just another part of England.
When you're inside a house that has walls.
Here's somewhere between the north and Midland of England, I've heard.
News to
Here
me.
is somewhere between Aberdeen and Sydney.
It definitely is, yeah.
I mean, most places are.
Okay, so without further ado,
that's just a little insight into the kind of bants that we're going to be having this evening. And we're going to be doing multiple things. We're going to do... Our good friend Stu's got a lovely segment for us. We've got, of course, the SpellBook Quiz, fighting for that Lord of the Rings T-shirt, and Stu's joining in at a big, massive 0, same as Will. So it's all to play for.
Feels
And we're
like
gonna
that was
start.
an unnecessary addition.
Just saying, you're really bad at your job. Maybe consider quitting. Only joking. So,
Scoreboard up so we can all keep track of it.
Yeah, we should have that.
first item on the agenda is a hot and tasty, fresh out of the kitchen item, and it's which is the best carb: rice, bread, pasta, or potato?
This is a D&D podcast, so I can
Pasta's-
see how this is relevant.
Pasta's a pretty good option, but bread is so good. Bread's like so good. Like bread's pizza, and that's a big one.
Oh yeah, if you classify it as pizza as well, yeah.
Anything that's bread based, there's a lot of bread based stuff. Pasta is good, but I feel like the problem is you can't really substitute pasta for anything else, really. Like pasta and rice.
Pasta, like,
Pasta
the closest you
kind of
get is
fulfill
like
similar roles.
lasagna sheet.
Lasagna sheets.
Mm.
But
I
then,
mean, you all know bread is winning this debate.
yeah,
Well,
it kind of just
has
is.
variety.
I mean-
Like, but I'm not gonna lie. If someone offered me like a pasta dish at 9 a.m., I probably would have that over some lovely toast.
Me too. But I mean, I'm going to fight for 90% of the global population and say that rice is probably the best. You can have that as a dish on its own.
Rice. I
Biryani,
don't know. Rice just needs more. Like you never really have like plain rice.
But
You couldn't
you have
like.
a curry without a naan bread.
Well, yeah, but
classic,
like
classic
can-
reformer will.
I think bread just kind of wins. I think rice is good, but if I'm choosing a carb, what was the other one? I've completely forgotten. Actually, it was
Potato.
potato.
Potato is not a shout.
Yeah,
Well, we've written potato off instantly, haven't we?
It's
Potatoes-
so
it was such a fake.
there's so much to do with it.
Potato
You can
is
do it.
punted out the window.
There's nothing you
Boil
can
and
do
mash and
potato
stick
that
them in
you
stew.
can't
And that's it.
easily replace with just like an alternative, like sweet potato or something similar.
If you are a Kenyan life blogger, please let us know which of those four you prefer. I'll be interested to know.
And if you're
And if you
tuning
are
in
from
from
the North
Macedonia,
if you're from North Macedonia, I'd be interested to know what the fuck you ate.
I'm willing to bet at least some McDonald's.
Some McDonald's.
I feel like there's just a
Statistically-
McDonald's everywhere.
Well,
I feel like
Oh.
if you had to guess the food someone ate in a country, statistically, you just guess McDonald's and you have the highest likelihood of success.
The interesting one there is always it's McDonald's, yes, but it's what is in their McDonald's.
True. Regional McDonald's
Is that-
differences are intriguing. I hate to vocalize this because I feel like it's very much overdone, but I've heard from people who have gone to Japan that Japanese McDonald's has a bunch of like interesting and is just better. But I also fear that may just be the kind of stereotypical Japan bias that a lot of people have.
I've heard they got pizza.
they're branching out, I guess. But I
In
would say that
McDonald's, apparently.
the typical McDonald's is a pretty low bar to get over. So Japanese McDonald's don't have to do all that much. Just to...
I don't
Are you
know.
ready for
they're-
me to seemingly segue into D&D? Are you ready?
Oh, okay.
So D&D is the kind of the McDonald's of the TTRPG space. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It's the one that everyone heard.
Yeah, it's the one that everyone kind of like has heard of the most.
Just goes to. It's like if in doubt, it's the one.
You're not feeling like cooking, but you don't really have the energy for anything. You kind of just want something simple and plain and easy. You go 5e. That is its bread and butter. You can go to fucking Pathfinder if you want something a bit more exotic.
I feel like it's kind of the Burger King. I would say, I guess here Daggerheart would be like the Taco Bell. Like it's
Daggerfall.
coming into the UK, but it's not everywhere.
Mm,
Daggerheart. We're not having this debate again.
it's making headroads in.
Of course, kids on bikes would be a Nando's. because
What?
it's really cool. Yeah, there's a TTRPG called Kids on Bikes, which
Good.
is about kids ride bikes.
Feels like you
Can
could
you
have
ever
included
Kids on
that
Bikes?
context earlier than just saying, and I think Kids on Bikes is clearly...
Kids
my
on Bikes
brain,
are worth many points when you're in your car.
my brain went, you're like, oh yeah, and kids who just go outside. We stay inside and play games. They're outside, like, living life in Nando's.
I thought you were going to make a reference to like 80s style movies where the kids are on the bikes in an old like Western American town.
This is a game, which is that.
Is it that? Is it that setting?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, you've
I
got,
love
like
it.
Stranger Things, for example, which is all
Yeah.
about, you know, those 4 kids on bikes kind of thing, having just played a game of D&D.
Yeah, and now you can play a game of Kids on Bikes as those guys playing D&D.
So you can play a game of kids on bikes playing D&D.
Is the to go slightly off topic, is the final season of Stranger Things out? And does anyone here have thoughts
Not
or
yet,
feelings
so-
about it?
So it's released, and this is great for anyone watching to know about Stranger Things. It is coming out in November. Each of the episodes is going to be like 90 minutes long. There is then the 2 parts finale. I think the first is going to be aired on Christmas Day or Boxing Day, I think. And then the finale is New Year's Day. No, New Year's Eve.
It's going to be really interesting to see how they make all of those adult men and women look like children.
Yeah.
I mean,
25-year-old Finn Wolfhard.
because for the last season they had that time skip, didn't they? You know, and it was a little bit like, you know, you could say they're teenagers, they've grown up a little bit, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I mean, where the last season ended off, there is no time skip possible there, kind of thing. There is none.
oh, they went upside down and they aged 20 years.
Yeah, the entire world
Yeah.
cracked.
Maybe that
Anyway,
isn't even
years
extinct.
later.
Like upside down, like the Fey realm rules, you age differently in the upside down. That'd be cool.
There it is. It's the writing hole that they need.
Or the Fae just broke through and said, "Hi, may I have your age?"
Yeah. Or they just own it and like they're adults now. Deal with it.
Just
Or the most likely
They're
one is
actors,
they
like
just
that.
don't address it at all and carry on.
got a full beard.
No. There's nothing to see here. Continue with the script.
Even better, they just completely recast and it's never mentioned.
That would be great.
That would go down so well, I'm sure.
I mean, I'm a be real, I didn't even watch season 4. I kind of was done with that show at season 3. Like,
How dare you?
Unpopular opinion, the show just, like, I don't know, I never overly cared because the supernatural elements always felt so whatever. Like, they never really did too much with it, and every single problem just has 11 frown on it and raise a hand, and then it gets fixed. But it'll
it's
come back
D&D
next
campaign,
season.
the film. It's
People eat
D&D
little
can't
bits
feel the
as well.
TV
Yeah,
show.
no,
It's great.
it's true. You get a little trickle of blood, and she raises it, and and then that's it. That's the climax.
Oh no, but the show goes, she screams louder and sometimes uses 2 hands.
Yeah,
That's how you know it's the real problem.
in season 3, the most fun I had with it was when they were doing like the little slice of life bits of like the kids just hanging out and interacting and being kids, and like the goofy shit with Steve. That shit was fun. I enjoyed that. The little like Russian base subplot was very silly, and was a good time, and was so devoid of any of the supernatural bullshit that just kind of when it did refocus on that, I was just kind of over it. Yes, Chris. Sorry.
So, was the Hellfire Club part of the bit you watched?
No, that would be.
No, that's season
Well,
4.
see, that's worth watching just for that, though.
Well,
He's cool.
Billy, season 4 is worth watching for Billy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Billy was for a 1 season. I mean, maybe. Well, that ruined it. For the time he's in it, he's absolutely fantastic.
He steals the show, and he's a D&D guy. So watch
You
it,
mean
well,
Eddie?
and then come back to us. Yeah, Eddie.
Eddie,
Eddie,
where-
Yeah,
yeah,
Billy's
Billy's
oh,
only
the-
season 3.
Yeah, Billy's the
Billy's
bully from season 3.
Billy's the
Yeah.
bully. Eddie's the dungeon master, who is really cool and awesome.
And he's awesome, yeah. And there's a really weird Russian prison breakout plot that they managed to fit in there, which was bizarre.
Which just happened to have Demogorgons in, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because of course they need to.
And I didn't enjoy it.
So, That's Stranger Things, and that's our general chat. I believe our guest Stuart, who absolutely nailed the Stranger Things intro. Well done for that, mate. I believe you have prepared something for us this evening as our guest and friend.
Yes, so what I've got for you is just a nice little blind ranking. So what I've got is I've got 5 different class and species combinations. Is that kind of as you would when you kind of had to start any D&D game. And we'll bring them up one by one. I want you to rank them on your personal scale where you would put these characters. Is that, and some are kind of, I think, looking down, it's you'd expect. Some are a bit more out there. Is that we're not just your conventional, intro to D&D. This is what we recommend you play.
Do we have to reach a consensus with the 3 of us, or is it individual?
Should we
I think we just fight to the death.
Okay, that's unhelpful. Do we want to do each of us do our own blind list and we reveal at the end? Do we want to do? We have to reach a consensus. There's 3 of us, so I think it's reasonable that we could convince 2 of us to be on the same side and majority rules.
I think if we do it when you see go for a combined one. Is that? But also if you want to keep track of it, so everyone 2 of them say they want this in second, you're like, no, that's definitely 5th. I've got my own little personal bit. I'm going to make sure everyone knows at the end I put this 5th. Is that?
We can put our collective ones in chat and reveal them after. I mean, individual ones in the chat and reveal them after, but do consensus ones as we go through. That may work well.
That sounds good.
Sure, I'm going to make a little notepad of what my personal rankings are.
Right.
Go for it. So let's see. Let's give us a share and hope it works. So, can the people see that, or?
I can see that.
I can't see it in full screen, which I think you've just tried to make it do.
Full screen.
I've just tried to. If that's easier if I don't, I can leave it as that.
Ooh.
Yeah, okay, I can. Yeah.
Like it. Like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, first up, Firbolg Cleric. So,
nice.
very kind of in touch with nature kind of builders. So, you've got your Firbolg combined with more, not quite your traditional kind of druid character alignment, but still, the kind of the positive, kind of kind, caring, healing side of it.
I do love a Firbolg. I played a Firbolg and he was great. He was a druid, so yeah, I know what you mean. But I do love him. I'll argue strongly in favour of playing the Firbolg. They have lots of tricks up their sleeves.
I also think you can never underrate a cleric. The amount of parties that don't have a cleric, and what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You still
my longest running character is a dwarf cleric, and some of the situations she gets out of is impressive.
Yeah, I think for me, Baldur's Gate really sold me on the cleric, respecing Shadowheart from Trickery Domain to Life Domain, and then just having her basically be an infinite heal factory got me through any difficulty in that game.
Because she can't hit to save her life.
Oh no, you can't hit a motherfucker at all.
Sacred Flame doesn't anything.
No.
Character definitely needs glasses, has no idea where the enemy are.
They didn't have them back then, though. That's the thing. They just had... But I think...
Squinting across the map.
Plus they get, I can't remember, the one that's a circle. That just basically anything that fucking...
Guardians.
Yeah, that one. That one's broken as fuck. The amount of fights of where it spawns 20 enemies, and I just have Shadowheart drink a speed potion and cast that, and then wander through it. So good. Yes, Chris.
We have 2 audience members. Hi guys.
Oh.
Hey.
Who turned off second person? Who are you?
Also, you may have not expected to immediately told hello.
Oh, because with so little audience, you instantly get a call out if you want one. And I'm an admin now. Somehow that's just done it by itself. I love that.
I've done that. It's not done it by itself.
Oh, so are you the second audience member?
No, because I'm only viewing it through the stream panel. Otherwise it would have been one from the whole time.
Audience guest is big guy, and that's okay.
A non-artificially inflated audience. I am shocked.
I mean,
Welcome.
if you look back in the video, you'll see the sheer shock and delight on my face as I
Yeah.
saw the number 2.
Yeah,
Hi, Fred.
fantastic news.
Speaking of number 2, I've put the Firbolg Cleric at number 2, and just because I love Firbolg. If it was Firbolg Druid, I would put it at number 1 because
What
it's been one of my
is a
favorite characters ever.
Firbolg? Because that might impact.
Like a
What is
half
a Firbolg?
giant kind of thing.
He's a giant boy. Well, you should actually know this because Drafter Redbirch was a Firbolg Cleric in our shortly lived
I felt like he didn't really do much.
No, he was a support character.
Yes.
So-
I mostly just
for
remember
context-
the Griffin.
For quick context, I'll be brief. Me and Will played a game where it was just me as DM and him. He
Oh,
was,
one-on-one.
yeah,
Wow.
it was
And your
intense.
character didn't
It
do
was
much?
intimate.
No, my character, because obviously it was only him, so I gave him like NPCs to play with, and the Firbolg Cleric was one of them, and the other one was a little grung rogue, a little frogman. So there was a big
Oh, he was
giant
great.
cleric. There was a big giant cowman cleric and a small little grung frogman rogue. It was a great pie.
I'm glad you had fun playing with yourselves.
So that's why I put it at number
Constantly.
2. Dave, what did you have this Firbolg Cleric at?
Well, I love a cleric. You cannot underrate a clevic, as I say. So I'm happy to stick to 2. I think there are classes I'd rather play that I have more fun playing as, but you've got to have them in your party. Love a team member who likes to play a cleric. So I'm happy. I'm happy to keep it at 2. You say is it 5?
It's 5, yes.
I've
Yeah, 2
personally put it at 3 because as good as a cleric is, healing is only useful if you have something else in the party to heal that will do the damage. You can do all the healing you want, but if you're just healing and not actually killing things, you will run out of healing eventually.
Unless you take Forge Cleric and have Fireball.
At which point, just play a fucking real wizard. if
But
you're
you can
playing,
be a wizard.
if you're playing anything other than a pure heal spec cleric, you should just play a different spellcaster class.
About Death
Wow.
Domain cleric, I've always enjoyed the idea of Death Domain. I mean, it's not the most useful, but I just like it.
Just want to be an emo cleric kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, fine. Bring you back to life.
Oh, yeah.
If I
Number
must.
2 for me and Dave. Number 3 for Will. We're going to try and convince
Are we
Will,
locking
or
in
are we going to let
now?
him lock in number 3?
Oh, I'm fine with majority rules. I'm going to keep it at 3 on my list, but yeah, I'm fine with the overall list it being a 2. Is someone recording the overall list? I just
It's on the it's on the Discord chat. Shout out
Seven.
Discord for being an amazing system.
Hey. So, second on the list. Bit more of a classic here. Halfling Rogue.
Such a classic.
What's that? So, how's best to be sneaky? Well, if there's only half of the person there, it's even easier to be sneaky, isn't it? You'd think. Depends on the dice roll, really, doesn't it? But
Very classic. I think the first character I ever played was a Halfling Rogue.
Likewise.
And it was like an intro session, so I want to say Mines of Fendelver. And there were so many people that turned up that I had to share the character with a friend of mine. His name was Stabsmans, and he stabbed man.
yeah.
stabs, man. What happened when a woman turned up? Oh, no, can't stab. Only man.
I mean,
my
a woman
one
has man in it.
No woman. Fair point, yes.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a classic for a reason, right? Rogue is just such a good class. Like it's such an unbelievable, like critical attack is just so good.
Right. My one gripe with 2024 Rogue is that they took out my favourite Rogue subclass, and it infuriates me. Swashbuckler is the best Rogue subclass, and you cannot change my mind on that. You can debate me, but I will not. I will never change my mind. And they took it out.
I think I can agree with you in a sense that I think a Swashbuckler Rogue can stand on its own.
Oh, that's just so much fun to play.
I think, yeah, and it's to say with the charismatic traits and thrown in with it as well. Just gives you more dimensional than just that I'm sneaky and edgy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
Yes,
gonna take a brave stance and say Swashbuckler should have just been a fighter subclass. A more fun, more roleplay focused fighter subclass. It focuses on being like a dexterity-based kind of non-strength fighter archetype. Because to be fair, there aren't that many non-strength fighter archetypes, except for like the occasional arrowy fighter or mage fighter. And I think it just could be a better way to do it.
I'm going to respectfully disagree with you. I think it's the anti-fighter, and I think having an advantage on someone who's in melee with you and stuff means that it could 1v1 a fighter, and I think that a rogue 1v1 fighter in a straight up fight is a really interesting concept. And Jack Sparrow is definitely a rogue swashbuckler, not a drunken fighter.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think the roguishness lends itself well to like pirate, captain of the high seas kind of style role play. But still, best rogue class, subclass, hands down, for sure. Fight me.
In the 2024 argument, I think
incorrect argument.
We have a guy in our home campaign currently playing as Soul Knife. I'm interested to see how that goes.
That's so good. Cool. Soul Knives are so sick. I had a Soul Knife. I think it was a variant human. And the shit you can do with that is so silly. It's really, really fun. The fact that he can basically just summon infinite weapons to their hands, throw them as much as he likes, and they're untraceable. It's such a cool concept.
He's also a Goliath with part of the new like cloud jaunt. He can just disappear himself as well as his knives now. So that's really cool. It's a good combo.
That alone is terrifying. Like, there's a giant in the party who can just make themselves disappear. Like, I was swearing, like, halfling, you're like, oh, did I actually see a halfling? Did they sneak off? Giant, it's like, no, there was a giant here. Where has the giant gone?
Hide and seek master 2024. Like, peering out from behind an enormous rock.
A rock that wasn't there. So, 2's taken. Where are you putting Rogue?
I'm gonna put Rogue myself. I'm gonna put him a bit further down. I like a Rogue, but I totally agree with what you just put in the chat, Chris. I was gonna put him down at a 4.
4.
Not the worst. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
4.
Not the worst. I like a Rogue. But
are we ranking this? What is the? Are we ranking it on objective strength or like how fun it is to play, or what?
I'm going off vibes like we did in the last one, and I think obviously Frodo is a halfling rogue, right? And he's a basic bitch, and he gets stabbed all the time. Sorry.
They can be a bit wandy as well. I find rogues can be a bit one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be. If it's your turn, go for sneak attack. Hit, disengage.
Yeah, but you get a big number. Big number's so fun.
And big number is good.
When you roll your damage.
When you get the crit on that sneak attack.
You don't even need the crit though. I mean, the crit is great, but like, you just do more damage than every other class up until like level 5. Like just pound for pound.
But at the same time, the best part of D&D, in my opinion, is the roleplay.
Yes.
Like, great, love a big number. I love like killing that enemy with like a sick crit hit or whatever, but they just get 1D. They really do 2D. Sorry, they get a bit too much.
No, they get 1D.
Yeah, they do.
They're just a line on the page.
I'm going to be brave and just say that's a skill issue. You can just any character can be interesting. It's just down to how you roleplay them. If you give them a one-dimensional character and a one-dimensional backstory, sure. And I will say most rogues fall into a very generic pantheon of like just slightly edgy. Yeah. Slightly edgy. I want to steal all the stuff. Yeah. But you can have an interesting character and be a rogue. I think, there's nothing. I can agree. I don't know. For me, the rogue is like I love any kind of glass cannon class. I love anything that lets me be like a bit of a sneaky bastard.
Yeah, we know. We've played with you.
Yes, exactly. Rogue has and will always have my heart. It was the first class I ever played. It's probably the class I've revisited most. It is just so fun. It's just pure fun. For me, my personal ranking Yes, you're a bard player.
You're
Yeah.
I don't have a favorite class. I don't know what that means.
For me, I personally am ranking the halfling rogue number 1 because I think halflings are broken, and rogues are
Number
just so
one,
much
no.
fun. For me, it's
Number
number
one.
1. For me, it's
Number
number
one's
1.
a massive shout.
I'm not saying on this ranking because number 2's already been taken. So I think for the group ranking, I'll take number 3. I'm not letting you guys drag it down to 4.
Ooh.
I mean, I feel like
Okay.
I'll go with 3. I would put it at 4 myself, but
Yeah.
it's a strong argument. I am feeling slightly persuaded. I'm not gonna lie.
Fine, yeah, sure.
The
Put it
passion.
at 3, but it's on my personal 4 spot.
It's my personal 4 still. That's not
That's
good.
fine.
But I'll put it the collective 3. So
You're
we've
allowed
got
to be wrong.
Furball Cleric 2, Halfling Rogue 3 collectively currently.
Which means you've only got 1, 4, and 5. So you got your top dog and your bottom 2 left as we move on
I'm
to
feeling
the
it.
third one. Warforged Paladin.
I'm
looking at Will. I'm looking at Will.
Character to the one you couldn't miss if you were a mile away.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a
The
reference.
robot man of God himself.
This is a reference to a character that I DM'd in my session that I ran with Chris and some of our friends a while ago. And one of our friends played a Warforged Paladin. Credit where credit's due. He was a cool character. Although the session every session eventually descended into just who can do the most bits in a session. There was not a lot of active story development.
And do you know why that was? It was because any encounter was completely nullified by the Warforged Paladin.
Yeah, to be fair, he put up. I say I like rogue for big number. Paladin is the real big number class.
Paladin, big number. And Warforged Paladin, big AC as well. Didn't he have like 23 or something?
Yeah, he had like the most ridiculously gross AC to the point where I just started making shit up if it hit him, or like I'd purposely, because I was homebrewing so much, I was making up most of the enemies, most of the encounters. I was twisting a bunch of, I'd like take existing concepts and change some bits. So I gave almost every enemy some kind of attack that they could do that had like a skill save DC over an AC check, because that's how you get around big AC numbers, is you make them dodge something and all of a sudden all that clunky armor doesn't help. But yeah, I mean, in terms of power, he's an absolute fucking unit. Like this was a terrifying motherfucker. In terms of personal, his character was also quite interesting. He quite often had to play the straight man of the group because we had 2 fucking little chaotic goblins.
And because it's a literal robot.
And because it's a literal robot. But to be fair, it did not help. His choice of companions were questionable. But yeah, the character concept, and I've seen it in action, and Chris will attest, is absolutely terrifying. It really kind of, like, he was some kind of battle cleric, I think, and it was not cleric, paladin, battle paladin, and it was like genuinely just a one-man army.
Like, there is an unkillable BBEG potential of a Warforged Paladin that's gone wrong. That would just kill everybody. No word of a lie.
Where I stand on that is, I think that when it comes to a character and a party composition, I think that every character or player in a party should have like some weaknesses, some quite severe in some sense weaknesses. Like, no one should try and be a jack of all trades or a one-man army. If you're playing a D&D game with a group, I think it's way more fun when you complement each other and it's not just, I'm a tank and I'm gonna deal all the hits, take all the hits. I can stand there all day and do what I like. So I see what you mean, and especially as a DM, I think that would be quite frustrating to try and have to get around.
I think the thing I look at and say, Paladin as a class is a fantastic class, and just say when you add the likes of Divine Smites and all sort into their lay on hands, so you would automatically have that dual thing of high damage and heal side of it. But the fact that when you first set up the character, is it the only one or one of 2 where you've got to have 2 ability scores of plus 13? is that so it does force you early on down that strength and charisma line. So
Which are just such good skills to have, though. Like, that's the other thing.
That's it. Yeah, you mean with that, say, if you're talking, role play side of it, obviously charisma is essential to any role play side of it. But then you generally go, right, well, you gotta drop something. Are you dropping dex? Because you don't drop con. No one, you should never really drop con.
Well, unless you've got an AC of like 25 because you're made of metal.
You just be like, yeah, you got a great shield, but if it gets through the shield, you are just squishy on the inside as it comes.
That's when you take a really high con as well. So even when it does eventually get through the armor, it just tickles.
Yeah, but then if you're doing that, then intelligence, wisdom goes. And if wisdom goes, you're basically walking around like a blind bat. You're ready for anything until suddenly a pit pulls underneath you, kind of thing.
Which works for a robot, I think.
Good point.
Blind. So, yeah, no, very interesting, and I can imagine how annoying that must have been to be. How do I take this metal monster down every time?
Yeah, I mean, it helped that the other members of the party went down like a fucking sack of potatoes every other encounter. So the fact that he had to spend half his time laying on hands was quite useful.
Just chipping away at his health while he brings everyone back up.
My character though was just fully a horny bard cliche, so there wasn't really much combat potential unlocked.
He wouldn't have a single spell slot left by the time they got to a combat. I actually made Chris write in that his character was immune to having spell slots available, because he would just literally, any time they were doing any kind of role-play encounter, he'd be like, and then I'll cast fly on myself and I'll fly over there, and the whole party were like, why are you doing this? Save the fucking spell slot. He's like, no, trust me, guys.
For dramatic effect.
Yeah. The amount of stuff that Chris, yeah, he would literally burn through every single spell slot at any given opportunity, to the point where I had to give him several magical items that both I gave him one that I can't remember if it's real or not. I gave him
basically a ring of spell storing.
Yeah, I gave him he had a loot that spell stored a bunch of spells that he used quite regularly so that you could try. And then I also gave him, because he basically always, I remember flight was one of them. What was it flight and invisibility that were just the two that you always tried to cast? So after a really hard fought encounter, I gave him a ring of dual concentration that basically it's really hard to save any concentration saves, but you can concentrate on, like, you have to get like your DC was like 15 or something, but
you can have two at the same time.
You can have two concentration spells at the same time, because he always like, it was partially for my own headaches, because he'd always accidentally overwrite one of his concentration spells. And then
now I'm just imagining him flying and then going, and now I cast invisibility. It's like, okay, you are invisible as you plummet from the sky.
Hi, Chris.
No one sees the splat, but they all hear
it. Just hear the splat and just, oh.
Hey guys, we've got 3 friends.
Oh,
hey,
welcome.
Hello, my friend.
Oh, so
okay,
back to this then. You got 1, 4, and 5, 3. Where is good old Warforged Paladin going?
I think it has to be high.
No, I can't. No, just because
he's so broken, though. Like, I mean,
it's broken in terms of power. It's 1, but I aesthetically, it's really cool.
He's like a fucking 40k unit. He's like a space marine.
Yeah,
he is.
It's playing a different game.
Do you want?
It's just fully playing a different game.
Do you want your characters all playing Space Marines in D&D? Not really.
Yeah,
I think if you're talking about like how broken this character is, gotta be high. But it's not. I don't think that's a fun party build. You know what I mean?
I've often said this. I take a very make your own rules type of DMing style. And because D&D inherently is so flexible, because at the end of the day it is what DM says goes, I think a raid boss-esque character is more just a challenge for the DM to figure out, okay, how do I play? So like I said, I gave lots of different creatures different ways of hitting him. I gave them things that that he was vulnerable to. I had them like use blindness and stuff that he kind of just, or there were many, or like I just gave them resistances to the kinds of damage he was doing, and they were fighting a lot of kind of like weird magically kind of necrotic type stuff. So I just gave him like, I think at one point I gave him a vulnerability to necrotic damage or something. But yeah, I just basically worked in ways to balance it within the realm of the game so that it just kind of kept everyone feeling like they were contributing what they should be. So I will say a broken character is only as broken as the DM allows it to be. And if you're being a very flexible DM, there are a lot of people who are just like very strict by the rules, kind of like, I've made a broken build, so I get to just win. But I think if you're a DM who's willing to kind of bend the rules a little and focus on the objective of telling a compelling story and making sure all your players are having fun, which is what I always try and do. And I'm also a big homebrew fan, to be fair. So I like a lot of my encounters, enemies, and everything, like I've said, and rewards, all of that stuff will be made up based around what will fulfill what needs to be done to fulfill the power fantasy and to provide an adequate challenge. So I think a challenging character really is more of a challenge for the DM than it is. I mean, there are limits to that. If you are a more by the rules DM, then it's perfectly fair to say, no, you can't have this build because it's too broken. You've just metagamed. But I think in our experience, whilst he was really strong, he was kind of the core of the party that allowed the other two to kind of go off and do their stupid fuckery, which is what they wanted to do. So I think, and I could rein him in when I needed to. Like I could just give an enemy immunity to radiant damage or whatever damage Smite does.
Well, you persuaded me to move off number 5 and put it at whatever is the next lowest one that we have.
Which would be
That would be 4.
There's no way we can justify putting him at 4.
It's too broken. It's a combat build. There's more to D&D than just combat.
I agree. Personally, I'll put him down as a 3.
Okay.
It's my 3, so I reckon 4 is a good spot.
I can take that. I've put him personally as my 2 because you know what? That motherfucker hits.
It does really hit. And it is really cool. I just, I like fleshy
Okay, so we're putting that as our 4 then.
I'll say, well, I can't wait to come to one of your sessions as a Hexasorcidin. Really bring in the broken.
You fucking try it, brother. See what happens. Oh, no magic field. Oh, oops.
Oh, right. And on to the next one. Your 4th option is Goliath Barbarian. One of the more classics.
Talking about heavy hitters again, suddenly.
Talk about heavy hitters. A Goliath Barbarian is known for doing one thing over and over again. Hit, hit, hit.
Hammer your enemy into the ground like a nail.
While screaming and
take down. Just keep hitting. It is but a flesh wound. Keep hitting.
I mean,
again, we're talking about 1D.
the image used has far too many clothes for my liking of Goliath Barbarian. I like them naked as a day they're born, screaming into the wind.
Looks a bit armory, if you ask me.
I know, but it does look cool, and Goliath Barbarians are that. And of course, there's a really famous one, Grog from Critical Role. But our friend, off-screen producer God Nick, who's let us down this evening, unless he's on the chat. Hi, Nick. But I know it's him, because he should be here. He played one, and it was really good.
I mean,
He was a bit murder hobo-y when he played it, I will say.
Of course he is. He's a Goliath barbarian. I feel like all barbarians are murder hobos in disguise.
Not in disguise. They're very upfront about it.
They're the opposite of murder. They're the very, very loud murder hobos.
They're really good at it. And I would like to see...
clothes, let alone any sort of disguise.
I would like to see if we ever did a full, like, you could choose your own D&D PvP game where we just, like, build the most powerful combat class ever. And I would like to see a knockdown, slog-out fight between a Warforged Paladin and a Goliath Barbarian.
I think...
No, that's a video.
I think I would argue the Warforged Paladin, like I said earlier, is difficult to deal with. But there are countermeasures you can take. I think Goliath Barbarian arguably is more one-dimensional and more broken because it's not even his AC that's the problem. It's the fact that he just basically takes half damage on everything and has a health pool that's just 3 times everything else.
Yeah. To me, that fight sounds like a past versus future fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always looked at barbarians and always seen they always feel like they're from the prior era kind of thing, like bunga bunga whack whack whack,
Screaming with a club kind of vibe.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stereotypical like vibe I get off the barbarian. You know, you go dex, you go strength, you go con, and you go 8 in intelligence, 8 in dex, 8 in wisdom, and 8 in charisma, and you just hit things and take hits. Meanwhile, you've got the futuristic robots, sentient robot kind of thing, which has godly magic power and combined with its own ability to whack hard. And you suddenly got a battle of time.
It would be cool. It would be cool to see. And cinema.
Chuck a clockwork saucer in the middle just to really shake it up. Control the field.
And then a honey bar just to try and seduce everyone for fun.
Oh, that's a future video. I feel we can
Yes.
definitely run that if you want.
I would like to do a future D&D PvP, but instead of randomizing things, like you have to choose the most broken thing and try your best to kill each other as quick as possible. I think that would be really good.
Broken build ranking.
I think it depends on level, because I think once you get past about 8th level, it's just Wizard. Wizard just wins. Wizard is just so broken.
If 4th or 5th level spells come online, really, it kind of goes.
Yeah.
Suddenly, the power words turn up. That's nice.
Power word kill. You're dead.
I love this one, Stu. I do. I love it because,
didn't it?
I love that you've chose this one, Stu, because obviously Critical Role is massively intertwined with D&D, even though they're splitting at the moment, the whole Daggerheart-based D&D thing. And everyone's favourite character is either Grog, the Goliath Barbarian, or the Horny Board, Scanlan. So I feel like whether we put this at 1 or 5, it could split our audience, and it'd be really interesting to hear what they have to say about it. Because I feel like anyone who watches this probably watches Critical Role, unless they're just our friends and family, in that case, hi guys.
And go watch Critical Role, because it's also
go watch Critical Role, then come back and we can talk about it.
Or at least go watch the Legends of Vox Machina. If you don't want 400 hours of
30-minute versions of it, well animated on Amazon Prime. Not sponsored. It would be great if we were though. Critical
Imagine, bro.
Hi, Matt Mercer.
Say Critical Role more, Chris, and maybe it'll get.
Chris, if you just keep staring
Critical
at the
Role.
camera lovingly and saying Critical Role, maybe they'll notice you.
I am a full-blown critter. So one really short, tiny segue. Really tiny short segue. I almost made a friend in just Tesco randomly who was wearing a Grog Strong Jaw based shirt, and I was so glad. I kept on walking past and thinking, I'm gonna say something. I just I went bidet. Didn't get a response. Bidet. But I went for one of those, and I didn't get a response. And then I went home and cried a little bit.
Oh, buddies.
That's a tough listen.
Yeah, I didn't cry really.
I think it'd be disingenuous to every other class we've ranked to put such a one-dimensional, basic, boring character as anything other than 5.
Yeah,
I think if you've literally just come off saying the Warforged Paladin is too much for one thing to go at 1, you can't then go and put the Goliath Barbarian at 1.
At least the Warforged Paladin has good charisma stats, so will engage in some kind of charisma roleplay. The Barbarians dump stat charisma. They're very one note. They probably talk in monosyllabic sentences. Grog hit thing with hammer. And like that's fine if that's what you want to do. That's so fine, but we can't pretend it's anything deeper than the most one-note character we've heard of today.
And going back to what you said about clerics, saying clerics are great if you've got something that needs healing and just keeping up. A cleric and barbarian combo is a dangerous team because when you do get the barbarian down, that cleric goes, do that again.
And the DM cries salty tears.
The DM cut up. Great.
I'm happy with it to go for the group 5, but I am going to put it as my personal 3 just for Grog.
It's going as my 5. It's going as
just for Grog. Classic, yeah. Well, that leaves just your number 1 spot. So, we're going to see what's going into your number 1. I'm sure you all recognise it. Tortleman?
Yeah.
Mr. Uruguay himself, kind of thing.
Yeah, love that.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We've got regularly discussed friend Eleanor and her personal one. I was hoping to be here for that to discuss these, but She played one and it was great.
So just taking that base AC 17 at level 1 with no armor, combining it with monk lack of armor as well, just it's made for it, isn't it? Really.
Monk is just such a fun class.
Monk is awesome.
Come on, Dave.
The amount of different subclasses and fun things you can mess around with Monk is brilliant, and I'm happy to have TMNT at my top spot.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think for me, unfortunately, on my list, it's my personal 4, but I'm happy it's our group.
I think it's ended up as my personal one as well. If it was SpellBook Druid, I'd have to change it retroactively, but I'm happy with Total Monk being number 1 for me as well on the personal level.
I mean, Monk, I don't know. Monk is such a cool concept, and I haven't checked out the 2024 update, and I've heard it's better. But I feel like in 5e, past 3rd level, you're not getting much bang for your buck, realistically. And I think it's a steady decline of like actual relatively useful power. The Monk class is so good. I mean, this is mostly looking at like a... What was that, sorry, Dave?
You can do like more role playness with a monk. You know, I feel like it's a different class that doesn't get picked as often. So I feel like it's more. You know, there's more.
Because I think
you can play with around with.
Because the first character I ever played was Way of the Drunken Monk, and mainly because I heard D&D and they said, "Oh, can I just be a drunk guy the whole time?" And the DM time said, "You can play a drunken monk," and I was like, "I'll play that then." And then suddenly realised it maybe wasn't the best character for a first ever play.
Yeah.
Although my first ever roll was a nat 20, but it was just to do a flip in the bar or in the tavern. It was that, so an absolute waste in my first roll. I do a flip. Why? Because I can roll nat 20. All right.
Were you at a level where you also had slow fall, so that you do a flip and then you just fall gracefully as well? Or was it?
I was very much level 1, so if I'd rolled a nat 1, I may have died from the crash.
Did you then do the reflip when you had slow fall and really showed off when you did a flip and then you like fell down in bullet time slow mo?
No, so therefore I'll have to replay it just to do that combo, just to really amplify the show.
Yeah. I like Total Monk, and I also like it for if we were ever going to choose a PvP game, because I feel like that's the right level of does damage but also tanks damage. And stun is so good and so powerful, and I only imagine in PvP that's probably even more so, just shutting down another character for a whole turn.
Yeah,
I mean, we did it. We stun locked in the dragon.
The fucking
video, right?
dragons. Yeah, I was gonna say ratty motherfuckers. It was such a gross thing to play against.
Just watch that. You'll see how powerful stun is, because we won it based on that.
Yeah, like just
salty at all, Will.
I mean, just being told, okay, and now you don't get to play this turn, and then everyone else does a round, and then by the time you do, you get like half an action, and then and as a reaction, I'm going to stun you off of that. Yeah, okay. Should I go home? Do you need me here? It's for a PvP 1v1. It is anything that just shuts down the character's abilities or actions is so good, because there's what's the counterplay without like legendary saves to just say, "Oh, I passed that."
Apparently, after watching one video, the entire Skyrim PvP multiplayer scene is just paralyzed and stun lock, because then the health bar actually stays stationary, so you can do damage. Otherwise, there's too many moving things. It doesn't actually track damage, so you have to stun. Like, you have to play it. If anyone's interested in Skyrim PvP,
is that the MOBA?
Skyrim with me.
Oh, okay. I've not checked that one out.
Future video?
Future stream, maybe.
Future stream.
Multiplayer Skyrim would be a fun time. I've not played Skyrim in a long time.
Yeah.
Same.
I'll be well keen for some multiplayer. I don't know if you can do the new Oblivion thing together, but
probably not.
I do like
that. What do you reckon at Elder Scrolls, Stu? Are you a fan? Are you in?
I say I've obviously played through Skyrim. I've not picked that game up in years, though. I say it's I did Oblivion as well before that kind of thing. So obviously the remaster of that was interesting, but I say Skyrim itself is trying to think. It's got to be 5 or 6 years since I picked that up. So I'd always be interested to pick. Yeah, it's a cracking game, one of the best of all time. So always interested.
First, guys, future Skyrim with me stream on this channel. Let's run it.
Same time, same place, same back
All the
channel.
boys.
Should we do a round off? Then should we do the overall list and then each of our personal ones?
Yeah. So in fifth you had the
Goliath Barbarian.
You had the Goliath Barbarian.
Boom.
In fourth you had the Warforged Paladin.
Happy with that.
In third it was the Halfling Rogue.
Mm-hmm.
Was that yes?
Yep.
Second, the Firbolg Cleric.
Yep.
And
world.
At the top, the Turtle Monk.
I think this list is fine if you swap the Cleric and the Warforged Paladin. I think that's a much better list. I think the Cleric, the Paladin being 4 and the Cleric being 2 really rubs me the wrong way.
The Cleric's always spoke to the Paladin.
That is
yet to
beauty of the blind white.
Yeah, that is true. We almost got there. Oh well.
You almost did. I'd say it was still very good. Yeah, all being considered, kind of thing. It could have been anything. Imagine if the last one had been like, trial. I'm thinking just someone like a barbarian wizard multi-class or something as the last option. Being like, well, that's useless to everyone.
Taking one level of every class.
Oh,
maybe we'll make it again, and then next time we'll make sure that the last one is just dog poo, and then it'll have to go where it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you very much, guys.
Chris, what was your top ranking then?
Of course, in number 5, I put the Warforged Paladin. Number 1 in terms of power, but I don't know. I like a fleshy character, and I'm not really a futuristic robot guy. I am definitely more of a past, but barbarian situation. Number 4 was the Halfling Rogue. I think Rogue's too basic. You just don't sneak attack. I need more than that. I need options. The number 3, just for Grog, Goliath Barbarian. Number 2, Firbolg Cleric. Number 1, the Turtle Monk. That was mine.
Very similar to mine.
What have you gone for, Dave?
In 5th, Goliath Barbarian. 4, Halfling Rogue. Just because, again, a bit basic. I could have potentially budged him up a bit, but happy with where he is. Warforged Paladin. Tanky. Great. Probably great fun to play as, but a little bit too one-dimensional. Number 2, Firbolg Cleric. So just love the Cleric. And number 1, Turtle Monk. Because you got those options. Once you get to level 3, I really like the paths of the monk. I think there's a lot of fun options there. Personally,
I really like the the astral hands. Astral palm.
I do know the ones you mean.
It gives you that reach, and it just basically extends everything and lets you have a bit of access to the magic side of it. And just, especially as a turtle, being like, if you did want to get up close, you're still pushing them back, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then you can go in your shell and hide away for a little bit, and it'll be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good segments.
Yeah. I'll just do my last ranking, and then we can move on to our next segment. So, obviously, in 5th, Goliath Barbarian. I feel like enough's been said on that one. Unfortunately, in 4th is the Turtle Monk. In 3rd, I've got the Firbolg. And then in 2nd, Warforged Paladin. And in 1st, Halfling Rogue. I think, to be fair, if I swap the Firbolg and the Turtle Monk, it's almost in direct order of most to least I would actually like to play this class.
Fair rankings. Tell us in the comments, guys, and in the chat. Thank you very much, Stu. Excellent segment. Loved it. Great chat, boys. We have one last super quick segment to get through before we wrap up today. And that is, of course, the SpellBook Quiz, our long-running series. And this time, it's a short one anyway. So, we are only going up to level 4 this time.
Okay.
So, same rules apply. If you get it at level 1, you get 9 points. But, today, slight twist, we're starting at cantrip.
Okay.
Can I just quickly ask a question? If you get it wrong, are you out?
You get
Or do
two
you get
guesses.
one
Two
guess each time?
Two
Two
guesses.
Two guesses.
Two guesses.
live.
Okay.
So you're just guessing class, and then there's an optional guess subclass for a bonus point.
Yes, if everyone has lives left. Exactly that. So if you get it on cantrip or level 1, you'll get 9 points. After that, it descends. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cantrip. Create bonfire. Create bonfire.
Bard.
Mm.
Incorrect.
Damn. I remember. I swear your bard used to fucking love creating bonfires.
It is really cool. It's my favorite cantrip. That's why I included it. Level 1. Absorb elements.
Good.
Incorrect.
Damn.
Track your lives. You've got 1 each. Stu, you have 2 lives. Are you guessing for 9 points, or are you waiting for a
Sorry.
spell?
Quick question: Is the reason we're only doing up to level 4 because they only learn spells up to level 4?
Maybe it's because I want to wrap up quickly. Maybe it's because of that. I don't know.
Okay.
You'll find out.
I'm gonna Warlock.
Incorrect.
Nah.
Dang it.
Level 2. Levitate.
Yeah, that was never gonna be that.
Levitate.
Levitates.
That'll be for 8 points. Any takers? There's some cooking. I can see some cooking going on.
Levitate. My brain's just saying part, except for absorb elements. I swear,
Create bonfire, absorb
you used to
element,
just love
levitate.
fucking levitating shit. You just like, can I levitate this? It was relentless.
I'm just gonna go in sorcerer.
Oh. Incorrect. Oh, Stu, you've frozen yourself out of the game.
No.
Absorb elements. I feel
He's
like
out.
absorb elements is the big clue,
Yeah.
and I can't figure out.
Oh, maybe. It's a red herring.
Yeah, maybe.
Absorb elements sounds druidy to me. I
It
don't
just
even know if
for
it's-
sure.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Animate dead.
Oh,
Is it just wizard?
Incorrect.
Damn it.
Is it?
Oh, is Will going to get any points today? Do you want to wait till the 4th one? And then the
No,
extra
fuck
bonus
it.
cantrip at the end.
I'd rather lose it all out. Because I'm happy to go home with 0. I'm gonna go for cleric.
Incorrect,
Yeah.
guys. Incorrect.
that's what I was gonna go for as well. Then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's. I guess that means I get the points.
Nope.
What's
You
level
don't
4
get
one
shit.
then? What's level 4?
Go on. Yeah.
Okay. So this will be for half points since you're all dead. Okay.
Mhm.
That's this thing.
So it would be for 6 points, but this will be for 3 points instead. Phantasmal Killer.
Oh, it's
That's a bit more getting close to it now.
yeah.
Rogue.
Correct. Well done, Will.
Fuck!
Oh,
I got points. No. Fuck! I knew I recognised those spells.
Okay. And so
Motherfucker.
for a completely,
Because I made Lucius Thorn, who was the arcane monk,
I mean,
and that's why
there's no
arcane
spell,
rogue
there's
even.
no lives, but there'll be no subclass anyway because there's only one subclass, and it's
There
of
is
course an
one,
arcane
yeah.
trickster, and the cantrip is going to give it away because it's Mage Hand, which is of course the signature for arcane trickster thing.
Mm.
Fuck.
Very
I
nice. That's a good one. I like that.
honestly think Rogue would have been my 13th guess.
I was
I may
thinking
have
monks.
left
for a
Barbarian
minute.
ahead of it.
I deliberately chose one that we all know a lot about.
Mm.
You said when you said only 4 levels, my brain immediately went, okay, so it's only gonna be a half caster
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of thing. So
Not
immediately
even a
I
half.
was like, oh, I don't know, are you playing like a trick, being like you just aren't including level 5 up kind of thing?
Probably should have thought of
So I was
that.
going
They only
Warlock
get to level 4.
because I was thinking Warlock, you get to your the packed slots.
Mm.
Yeah.
Or is that
I mean-
only go up to level 4, I think, don't it? And then it becomes different.
Yeah, Warlock tripped me up last time because I did Warlock for the last one, and the spells were just crazy. Everything was in the level 5, so I don't know what was going on. This time I went really simple. So there we have it. The power rankings of this game, of course. Now, Stu, thanks for playing. You're on 0. Will, you've got points. You're on 3. Dave is still in the lead with 8, and I believe Eleanor is on 6.
That's good.
I've got points. I've got to win.
Or 5 or 6.
I've doomed it for the rest of you, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I will be locking the
it's
fuck
still
in.
very much all to play for with 3 weeks of playing the game left. Someone will get that shirt. It's going to be great. That's all from us, actually, unless anyone has any final thoughts or any personal items, deeply personal stories they want to review.
Well, this one time. No. So I'll save it for next time.
Join us next time for Stuart's insanely personal and interesting story.
And who knows whether they'll be live or pre-recorded, if it's going to be in the next month, in the next year. Who actually knows?
It could be anyway. We keep you on your toes. That's how we win. All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. And
all right, it's going to do it. But, carry on, Will. Fine.
God, whose channel is it, Will?
I've said enough.
God forbid the guy who's streaming does the outro. Yeah, thank you all for joining, everyone. And this is the first stream of many. We broke so many records. We broke our viewer record 3 times in one stream. That's crazy.
That's unheard of.
And if we extrapolate this data, so we started the stream on 1 viewer, and by the end of the stream we went to 3. So give us, if we do this daily for the next few weeks, in a month we'll be the biggest stream in the world. So
we're ending on a nice 2, I believe. So
okay.
As of the time when we're looking at this, we're on 2. So hi, thank you very much for sticking with us, second friend. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and please don't send us nude pics in the mail, because I've been told off for asking for those for some reason.
Good. All right. Thank you very much.